Hello, welcome to the party. Hi, I've never met you before. I know. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time.
Hi, I'm Micah with Just Two Guys. This is our second episode. Hopefully we've improved a bit. I want to thank all the couple viewers that tuned in last time. We have confirmed that I think it's in double digits now. So, John, what do you think about that? Thanks, John.
Pretty good.
That was a little creepy.
Yeah, thanks.
That was really creepy.
I think it's awesome. I think we have at least one fan, so that's good.
I heard of one fan.
Yeah. All right. You ready to do these?
Let's do some questions.
You want to flip?
Yeah, I'll flip the coin. We did it again.
Heads.
Heads. Heads it is.
I get to go first?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay. If the moon was made of spare ribs, would you eat it?
I'd eat it. I would smother it with sauce.
You would.
I would.
What if it were made of blue cheese?
No, I don't like blue cheese.
Just spare ribs.
Spare ribs, I would eat it, and I would smother it with nice
question.
moon sauce.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Oh, that was a good question.
Yeah, that's a quick one to start things off.
Well, that's not bad. Okay, John, we've established from the last show that you're a fan of the 19th century. Now, this question it should apply. I know that it's the question actually is about would you sucker punch somebody in the 19th century, and who would it be? And I know the reason I'm selecting 19th century is because Hitler in the 20th century would be the obvious target. But who in the 19th century would you totally sucker punch?
Wow, in the 19th century, who would I sucker punch?
Like I'm talking about like come up behind and just bam right in the back of the head.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Does it have to be the head or could it be the stomach?
Well, you can give it to his stomach, but
well,
whatever sucker punch method you like to use.
A sucker punch. I'm going to have to go with Liver Eater Johnson.
Liver Eater Johnson.
Yeah,
okay.
That guy, he was a real bad dude, and so the only way I could take him is if I sucker punched him.
Okay.
Although he was a known cannibal.
Right.
So,
and we do know quite a bit about cannibalism.
We do.
And I do have a little. Hitler was born in the 19th century.
Oh,
would you
I'd
sucker punch
him.
baby Hitler?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's an ethical question.
Yeah, I would.
You would
definitely
sucker punch baby Hitler.
No question.
Okay.
I would sucker punch a lot of babies. Okay.
That's quite an ethical problem.
Okay. Okay, you're stranded in the middle of a raging river.
Mm-hmm.
If you swim downstream to safety, the swim will be simple and refreshing.
Okay.
It's a sunny day and the current will lift you to safety.
All right.
However, you will be greeted by a mob of angry hillbillies who will treat you to a good old-fashioned butt kicking.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you swim upstream, you will almost certainly wear out and drown. But if you do manage to survive, you will be treated to a delicious hamburger horseshoe upon leaving the riverbank. Which would you choose and why?
I would go upstream.
You'd swim against the current?
I would swim against the current because that horseshoe is my golden goal. I just want to get to it and eat it. And
that's enticing enough for you?
Yeah, and living, that's secondary.
Really? So you wouldn't just take the butt kicking and get it over with?
Well, their hillbilly butt kickings are a little different than regular butt kickings.
True.
They tend to use instruments. I don't want to go too far into that.
I don't need to go any further with that.
Let's not go into that. So.
Okay, good answer.
All right, well, I'll try to give it to you. If you decided to be a famous cat burglar, now, what I'm saying by famous is you got to be high stakes cat burglar, not just a convenience store. Mm-hmm. Would you work alone or would you work with a team?
I would work alone because you can't trust anybody else.
Okay.
Anyone will rat you out at some point.
You couldn't use like a driver or a grease man?
No, I don't trust anyone.
No? Nobody?
No one.
What kind of stuff would you steal?
A lot of diamonds and artwork.
You'd be a jewelry and art thief.
I would primarily steal artwork, but diamonds for the ladies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. I think I want to move on to something else. I have one question here and then several sub-questions.
Okay, go for it.
In a fight, who would win? A robot or a pirate?
Oh, I've got to have... it's a pirate.
A pirate, you think so? Because they're... Well, tell me why.
Well, what kind of robots are we talking about? Are we talking like 22nd century robots, 21st century robots?
Well, not a Roomba,
Okay.
but maybe something a little farther down the road.
Okay. It's not,
Not
like the 50s
Beta.
robot.
Not like Beta from Star Trek.
Okay. All right. So, no, I'm still going with pirate.
Okay, pirate.
Pirates are
Good answer.
pretty sneaky. They can jump from behind and
Next.
stab you in the neck.
Next, Chuck Norris or Lindsay Lohan? In a fight.
I
Who would
know.
win
I'm trying to...
That's tough.
That is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lindsay Lohan... What?
Come
Chuck
on,
Norris,
it's a
come
simple-
on.
Chuck Norris with a roundhouse kick to the face.
I'm trying to imagine it, and it would be a good, like...
Be a good fight, I'm
well,
sure.
it'd be only entertaining because Chuck Norris would really take it.
I'm not so sure. I think he's kind of a wimp.
Really?
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's all for show. Now, in a fight, who would win? You or me?
Oh, I'm going to have to say you.
No way.
No way.
You're a dirty fighter. I've seen you. I've seen you fight.
No,
Okay.
I don't have the build-up, the momentum.
Mr. Rogers or Big Bird?
Oh, Mr. Rogers. All the way.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Well, wasn't he like
He doesn't have like a gang of followers like that for no reason.
Wasn't he a Navy SEAL or something?
Was he?
I heard that.
It could have been a Ranger.
Abe Lincoln or Elijah Isles?
Oh, I'm going to go with Lincoln.
You think so? Because he was so tall and
Isles was
wiry?
punk. That's the only reason.
You better be careful what you say around here.
Well, if I said Lincoln was a punk,
Okay.
I wouldn't be walking out
I think that's it for that.
here. Okay. If you could choose to live the life of a female athlete in the 20th century, who would you live?
Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Wow, quick answer.
Yeah.
Would you prefer a male trainer or a female trainer?
Male trainer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think you get the best of both worlds that way.
Yeah, I mean, that works. But Jackie Joyner Kersey's
Always been a big favorite of mine.
not
I like the way she runs and she's fast.
a gymnast.
No, I'm not into gymnastics.
Mary Lou Retton.
I just like running and jumping and things like that.
Well,
She would be good, like if you were hunting, and you're hunting with a spear or something. You could run and. Okay, that was a good question though.
it was out there.
If you could build if they
Oh, they.
could build a giant elevator into space, would you take it?
Yes,
Really?
I would take it. Well, it'd be much easier than having to suit up to go on a shuttle. I mean, just press the up button and
True.
there you go.
True.
I wouldn't. No, I mean, easily. Now, an escalator, that can get kind of annoying because I'm always the guy like on the left side who's not walking.
It would have to be one of those circular
Right.
ones too.
Yeah,
And it's annoying.
Yeah. No, totally. Okay. So, John, this is kind of a long. Now think about this one. Okay. Would you rather be dropped off the coast of South Africa in the middle of the night with enough scuba equipment to get you back to shore, but you have no flashlight and there's no moonlight, or be handed the controls of a Cessna over the northern territory of Russia with clearly stated instructions in English, but only Russian-speaking traffic controllers?
Wow, that's a dilemma. I think I'd take the scuba gear.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot less to be able to swim and navigate your way back.
Those are dangerous waters down there.
Yeah, but I've fought plenty of sharks in my day.
And you have no light, no compass.
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that
I'd
like
still take
if
the
you,
scuba.
If you close your eyes and think about jumping in the middle of the ocean at night with no light and you don't know what's behind you, I guess it would make you swim faster.
Sure.
I know I'd be swimming faster.
I just don't dig the idea of being in an airplane that I don't know how to fly. I mean, I know there are instructions, but I've never done it.
They're clearly written.
I don't want to learn on the fly, literally. No, I don't.
So you'd put the wetsuit on and jump in
I would.
the ocean. All right, well, that's
My Navy SEAL training would come in handy. What's your biggest pet peeve while driving? And how do you respond? Swearing, hand gestures, rear-ending, or other?
Pet peeve while driving. I hate it when people are like right on my tail
Really?
and I slam on the brakes.
You do.
Yeah.
That's a dirty trick.
It's a very dirty. But I can't stand them. I mean, get off. Go around. Or, no, I'll tell you what else I do is because I'm kind of a grandpa driver, I will actually, if it's a 30 mile per hour zone, I'll be going like 35 or so. Somebody's like really on me to go faster, I'll drop down to 20.
Nice.
Yeah, where
It's
they
a
can't
nice
pass.
technique.
Well, you know.
You know what I like to do?
What?
I like to point at them and just shake my finger like, that was a bad thing to do.
You won't pull your gun out and
No, I think
wave
there's
it?
something about that makes you feel guilty. Like there's a grandmother shaking her finger at you like, you're a bad boy.
Just that finger, right?
Just that one. Yeah, no, not the other.
Okay.
Your turn.
Kennedy assassination. What do you think about it? Was it lone assassin? Was there a guy in grassy knoll? Was it the mob? Was it Cuba? Was it
Well,
the U.S. government?
that's a good question. Something I've been researching my entire life.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're here for that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think anybody can answer that question. I think that
But you've got to have a
probably-
theory on it. Everybody has a theory on it.
Yeah, it was probably an army of robots from the future. However, that being said, I don't know. Lee Harvey Oswald probably did most of the shooting himself. But I think but I think there were other people involved.
There was a guy in the grassy knoll.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm surprised. I'd pin you for a.
No, I've gone back and forth
It was the
in
government.
my life.
Okay.
I've seen the Zapruder film.
I'll take that for what it is.
You're home alone.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, you only have 2 channels on your television.
Okay.
Would you rather watch Andy Griffith or American Idol?
Andy Griffith.
Excellent choice.
I watch American Idol. I am not, opposed to it. I like to, watch the good entertainers, but I do get annoyed by it. Andy Griffith is just, it's a simple, fun little show that.
Do you fancy yourself a singer?
Like Andy Griffith?
No, like American Idol.
He's a great singer.
He is a great singer and a guitar
Real
picker.
folky. I know.
Yeah, nice.
I love it. On American Idol?
Yeah. Do you imagine yourself someday being on the show? And
Absolutely not.
Really?
No, I would mock the show the entire time.
You would.
Yeah.
You'd stand up for.
I would stand up for the rest of us non-singers.
Good.
Not that I would have a chance to be on it,
Well,
or I'd just send it, sing.
you're probably over at the age limit now, are you?
No,
It's 28. Are you?
29, isn't it?
I think it's 28.
Is it 28?
28.
Like I know.
Tough
Tough.
luck, buddy.
That was a tough question you just asked me.
I know. I asked the hard-hitting question.
You really do. Okay, John, this is. I want your opinion on this. You're in the grocery store. Okay.
I'm imagining this.
You're walking down the aisle. You're walking down aisle 1. You see somebody right? You're familiar with. Yeah, you're not like best friends, but maybe coworker or something along those lines. You say hi to them. You have like a nice 5-minute conversation with them. Aisle 2. There they are again. You say a little awkward hello. Come to aisle 3. You make eye contact. You're both sides of the aisle. What is your next step? Do you keep going down the aisle and accept that next awkward situation, or do you just back right out?
I've got a great answer to this, I
Okay.
think. First of all,
Oh my goodness.
what I would do. That's crazy.
We have a problem in the control room.
Control room, there's a problem.
We have a problem.
First thing that I would do, I have to say, I'll answer your question, but first I would say that wouldn't happen to me. When I see people in the grocery store unexpected, I get like an anxiety attack and I avoid them at all costs.
Oh, you didn't even like the first meeting never happens.
No.
Well, the first meeting
I like
might
slink around the
happen.
store looking over cans and stuff. I'm like, there they are. I gotta hide.
So what if the first meeting does happen, and then are you just like out of the store? I
No.
never want to run into that situation again.
Usually what I do, I'm on high alert. I've got like a spider sense. And I go to the opposite end of the store and I work my way back.
Yeah, but wouldn't they be working their way towards you?
But then I try to keep a really close eye on where they are in the store and avoid that aisle. So then once they're past me, I'm free to keep shopping.
That's interesting. You wouldn't just.
I've worked on this for years.
I have actually fully confronted the situation, and I have said, we need to end this.
You're a brave man.
We're gonna go this. We're gonna continue the direction. I'm gonna turn around, and I'm just gonna be about 5 steps behind you the whole time.
Wow. You're brave.
Yeah. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
If you could only eat cheese or chocolate for a month, which would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. Do I get anything with the cheese?
What?
Do I
No,
get anything?
just cheese or chocolate. These are strict rules.
And
These are
what kind of a
strict rules.
world do you live in where it's cheese or chocolate?
That's just how it is.
What kind of chocolate? We're talking milk, dark.
Any variety of chocolate.
Okay, I would
And any
take
variety of cheese.
I would take the milk chocolate because I cannot stand cheese by itself.
Good.
I'll take
Well-
macaroni and cheese, but obviously that's completely out of the equation.
It is.
All right.
I think that's all we have time for today.
Well, that sounds good. It was good, hard-hitting their questions there, John.
Nice work.
Yeah, wonderful.
All right.
All right, this is my favorite part of any of the shows we've ever done. This is where we get into the food section of Springfield. And of course, if you're going to start a food section, you want to start with the horseshoe. As you can see, we have it right up here in front if you want to take a look at that. I'll go into where this horseshoe is from in a minute, but John, you want to say a word what we did earlier on in the week?
Yeah, we got together on Monday night and we bought horseshoes at 3 different locations. Dublin Pub, Darcy's, and Thirsty's Playground.
Mm-hmm.
And we took them back to Micah's house. We opened them up. We split them 3 ways with Micah and his wife. And we ate them and judged them on all sorts of things, from cheese to hamburger to portion size to price. And when it came right down to it, Darcy's was clearly the best horseshoe.
Yes, for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
And I would say number 2 would be Thirsty's, and then Dublin Pub.
Yeah, definitely.
3, they're all wonderful horseshoes.
Right.
I would go out to each restaurant and,
Well,
and have it. But
what struck me that I thought was interesting was that if I taste the Dublin shoe and I taste the Darcy shoe separately,
right,
I think they're both pretty equal.
Right.
But when I tasted them together at the same time, there was a clear difference.
and there's a portion difference as well. Darcy seems to give you a bigger patty. In fact, it's almost twice the size.
It's gigantic.
Yeah, but you know, portion-wise, it looks the same. But when you get down to the actual meat, which personally, I'm a meat guy.
You
Don't
are
take
a
that
meat
the
guy.
wrong way. I'm
No,
a meat
I
guy,
won't.
though. I'm a meat guy.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, it's got a much bigger patty. Although Thirsty's provides you a very nice slab of meat.
Yeah, and they ask you how you want it cooked,
Yes, yes.
which I thought was nice. That was the only place. they
Another great thing about Thirsty's, and this is our first time with Thirsty's, so this was a whole new experience. The fries were not crinkle cut.
Right.
They were, what would you call them? The potatoes.
They were good.
French fries. Yeah.
I don't
Anyway, they served you to go the cheese on the side.
Yes,
Which is
so
a
the cheese
great
didn't get
thing.
crappy on the way out.
Exactly. So you can pour it on as you like, which
Right.
is great. And we went with white cheese all around. But I think when we came down to it with taste, cheese, and portion size, I think we went with Darcy's. Would you
awesome.
like to dig
Yeah.
into it? We also want to slightly talk about the history of the horseshoe.
Yeah,
Correct, John?
I'll start that off.
Yeah, go ahead and start off. I'm going to take a
Well-
little bite here.
Most people who live here know a little bit about the horseshoe. They know that it's, you know, an open-faced sandwich with 2 slices of Texas toast, and originally a hamburger with French fries and cheese sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And local lore places its origination at the Leland Hotel in about 1928. And some people say that it started at the Red Coach Inn around the same time or whatever. But
Correct.
essentially, it just sort of started there. They had this, apparently they had some extra cheese sauce or something left over, and they put this over the whole dish. And they had a lot of people who at the time were horsemen or something, and so they called it the horseshoe. But that history is only what the local historians want you to believe.
Yeah, we
We
did a
have the
little
true history
we
of
did
the
a little
horseshoe
digging,
sandwich.
and
It didn't take much, by the way.
it didn't take much.
No.
It took like a day of history, but there is more of a history to the horseshoe than just the Leland Hotel.
Do you want to start telling us about that?
I'll start off. You'd be surprised to know, John, the horseshoe
Would I?
was invented in 1102 by a Viking named Snorri Harsgaard.
Wow.
Snorri Harsgaard was he was a violent Viking, pretty aggressive, very short on patience. And bear with me here, I'm kind of reading through the history. He and his group were preparing to storm the great fortress of Sirkland. It was a great fortress. This was going to be a huge battle.
This is
and
exciting.
Yeah, and before the battle, they always sat down for a big feast, before they went in. It's their last hurrah. So anyway, Snorri and his group prepared the feast of herring. It's what they called spears of the sea. Bread, any type of bread they had, and bilberry mutton stew. a big group that they would kick back a few beers. Well, like I said, Snorri was kind of a particularly impatient Viking, and a lot of the fellow Vikings actually feared him. But a little problem occurred. A Viking named Eric Schultberg, or what they called him, Eric the Cook, as he was known amongst the Vikings, he forgot to bring the plates. Which now, and you think in Viking lore,
What a
plates,
jerk.
but they forgot to bring the plates. This enraged Snorri. Snorri quickly chopped off Eric the Cook's left arm, which held his shield, for the purpose of using the shield as a plate. So as he put the bread down and the herring on it, he realized he had nothing to eat the stew in. It was all over there. So he lopped off Eric the Cook's left foot, took his shoe off.
That makes sense.
Put the stew in, and started eating out of the shoe. Well, after he took a glance at Eric the Cook's foot, he realized it was probably not sanitary to be eating out of his wolfskin boot.
And they, of course, worried about sanitary conditions back then.
They certainly did,
Yeah.
Especially Snorri. So anyway, that's kind of how they enjoyed the meal. Eric the Cook eventually died later on that night from limb loss.
Oh, I would've-
And Snorri went on to die the next day in the Great Battle.
Really?
But from that point forward, before they were going into battle, they ate bread with herring on top and a little bilberry mutton stew over it.
That's
so
interesting.
That's kind of how it got started. It went on and went on, and
And I picked up the history of the horseshoe in the Middle Ages.
Okay.
Well, as many things happened in the Dark Ages, things disappeared or were lost or forgotten. Well, in the Middle Ages, under the reign of Henry VI, he reigned from about 1422 to 1460 something. He was really interested in the culinary arts, and he had his cooks researching all kinds of old texts, looking for information on different foods. And they recovered an old Nordic recipe, which is exactly what you're talking about, I'm sure,
I'll be darned.
And they modernized it for the king using, modern ingredients. They called it Welsh rarebit or Welsh rabbit.
Okay.
Primarily that was because the dish consisted of an English cheese and beer mixture, and it was poured over hot toast and any variety of wild meats, primarily rabbit, because that's what they ate a lot of at the time. They used a lot of rabbit innards and pheasant breasts, but mostly rabbit. The dish was then broiled until crisp and firm, and it had a similar consistency to what we eat today. And actually, I have an inscription from a cookbook used by one of Henry's cooking staff.
I'd love to hear it.
It was written in prose, actually, so here it is. And just as far as ever from the end, not in the distance but the evening, not to point my footstep further at the thought, that rarebit dish, a meat-covered friend of the past no longer known in merry England. Isn't that nice?
Oh
Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
And an interesting side note is that overconsumption of Welsh rarebit is known to produce nightmares. And you may be interested to know that in the 1900s, early 1900s, there was a cartoon published, a serialized cartoon called Nightmares of a Rarebit Fiend.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. And so Henry VI went crazy. He consumed tons of the stuff. He did go insane near the end of his reign, and he was thrown from power during the War of the Roses, locked in the Tower of London, and eventually murdered. But rarebit stuck around, and it was a popular English dish, and it still is today.
Wow. Well, I can take it from there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I've been eating this horseshoe. I got to
No
wash it down a
problem.
bit. The horseshoe arrived on the shores of North America in around 1620 with the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims were Puritans trying to escape the Church of England. They were rejecting a lot of the English values, which would have included Welsh rarebit.
Right.
So a well-known fact is, we all think of Pilgrims, Thanksgiving, having, meals with Native Americans. They weren't just eating turkey and corn. They
Really?
had their own little horseshoe set up.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was great. It was turkey on cornbread topped with a thick mixture of barley, water, and flour, and they mixed it
Cool.
together, and it was just put on top, and it was a real good meal for everyone. In 1778, as it grew and progressed, it was a popular dish. George Washington and General Howe declared a ceasefire so that both sides could, trade the necessary items for this. And it's actually said that the American troops under Alexander Hamilton's battery,
Your man.
I know, he's my man, decided to give the British ham instead of a turkey.
The production room is telling us that we only have a few seconds left.
Okay, well, anyway,
we'll have to pick this
what
up next
came
time.
from that, though, is the British became obese and they lost the war. And
Great.
actually, the Americans picked up on it, and that's why we're all obese now.
Excellent. Excellent history.
So, yeah.
There's more.
There is more. There's history part
We'll tell it next
4.
time.
Wonderful. All right, this is a great segment. I'm going to eat some more. Thanks.
Okay. In case you haven't heard or you didn't see the first show, we are trying to organize a Springfield Community Movie Project. And basically, this is just open territory for people to get involved in a no-budget movie project. Right now, we're looking for a script. We're desperately looking for a script. I've been posting to the blog religiously, nearly begging for a script. And once we get that, I think all the ball will start rolling and we can get going.
I think the pieces will fall into place once the script arrives. And I realize that probably no screenwriters watched the show last week.
Please, if you're out there, screenwriters.
But yeah, if you're watching now, go ahead and throw something together. It should be pretty interesting.
I'm going to send something out into the airwaves. And the thing is, we don't really want, it's not really our project. We don't want to sit and write a screenplay and do all this stuff.
No.
We just want to help organize a group of people to get together and be create and do.
No, it has nothing to do with our ego, which is quite massive. But
well, speak for yourself.
But no, we are just looking for this project to happen. And the reason we want it to happen is because we think it's a really good thing to do in the community and involving everybody. So
I think community art is a great thing.
We're begging. Don't make us get
anybody
on our
out
knees.
there, please.
Please don't.
Please. We'll get on our knees if we have to.
I'm not doing that.
Micah will shave his head if we have to.
I will do that.
All right. I think that's all.
Yeah, that's probably it. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Just Two Guys.
Later.
Hello, welcome to the party. Hi, I've never met you before. I know. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time.